Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy PickemMMA. Today we're gonna be breaking on UFC Cannonier versus RoboCop. In the co-main event, we got Zalal taking on Calvin Kattar. That should be a fun co-main event. Also, really looking forward to both of these co-main and the main. And the card overall isn't bad. I mean, if I'm being honest with you guys, it's the Apex card. Normally, I'm not really a big fan of going back to Dana Dungeon. But this card is actually not that horrible. At least we don't have a W main win on the main win, right? Excuse me. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this co-main win. Calvin Kattar on a skid right now. He needs a win badly. Zalal on the other hand on a win streak right now, finishing everyone that he's facing recently. All wins by submission. We cashed him by submission at like plus 800 over Jack Shore. That was really nice there. We got Shahbazyan taking on Budka. Budka hasn't had the best run in the UFC yet. He made his debut against Cesar Almeida, and then he took on Petroski, got completely dominated in both of those matchups. He's a young dude, so we'll see how this one goes for him here. We got Bonfim taking on Sadykhov. Should be a fun fight there. We also got Rodolfo Vieira taking on Andre Petroski. Connor Matthews taking on Jose Delgado. I'm actually looking forward to Jose Delgado's debut. He's coming over from Dana White Contender Series. This guy's actually got all the tools. He's training over there MMA Lab. So I'm really looking forward to Delgado. He cashed for us by KO on Dana White Contender Series at plus 250. That was really nice to cashing on him by KO. He beat an undefeated guy who was like 9-0 or like 8-0 if I remember correctly. I mean, Angela Hill's on the card taking on Souza. Souza coming off that crazy underdog win over Jasmine Haraguya UFC Noche, where she cast at like plus 300 or something like that, plus 350. It was insane. She got a first round submission, so she's coming off some momentum right now. Taking on Angela Hill, who's lost a close, controversial decision to Tab the Ricci. Some people think Angela Hill should have probably won, but it is what it is. Every fight season, it's really close. I mean, normally Jared Gordon versus Kyle Fernandes. I think this fight might be canceled. I heard news that this fight's off now. Rafael Estevam taking Jesus Aguilar. Estevam coming back after the layoff, so we'll see how that one goes for him. Gabriel Bonfim taking Chaos Williams. Why is this on the prelims? I really don't understand why this fight's on the prelims, if I'm being honest with you guys. Doesn't make sense why this is on the prelims. This should be like a featured fight on the main card. Vince Morales taking Eliza Smith. If you guys didn't know, Eliza Smith's the son of Gilbert Smith. He competed on Ultimate Fighter. I think it was back in 2013, so it was a long time ago. If you guys been watching UFC for that long, you guys probably remember his father, Gilbert. I think his name is Gilbert Smith. Yeah, I think his name is Gilbert Smith. So he's making his debut. He came in a short notice on Dana White Contender Series, and looked pretty good on Dana White Contender Series. Didn't look bad. We got Don Mays versus Walter Walker, Johnny Walker's brother. Let's break down this fight, guys. First of all, let me plug in my if you guys want to support the channel, you can become a member on my channel. It's for $4.99 a month. You get some live stream perks. You get to support the channel. And also, guys, my bets are all free, man. There's a link in the description. You can see all my bets every week for free. I don't charge you guys anything. And also, like, we cast pretty good on Santos submission last week at like 15-1. We like only put 20 on, and we made like $300 on that. We cashed on Duplessis, 5 innocent Duplessis last week. That was nice. So we're coming off a really good week last week. I'm really happy with how last week was. I didn't get a lot of picks right. I think I went like 4-7-1 on picks. So the picks weren't all that great, but we made money. I mean, that's my goal is. I don't care about getting picks right. As long as I get we make money on the card, that's the main priority for me. So if you guys do like what I do here, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And let's break down this first fight now. So we got Julia Avila taking on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. This is a pretty easy fight for Jacqueline Cavalcanti. She's gonna be the better kickboxer, younger, in her prime right now. She's coming off. I mean, her striking is good, man. I'm actually impressed with Jacqueline's striking. I watched her in PFO when she fought in PFO a couple of years back, and it was a close fight, but she's definitely making improvements right now. And I'm going to go Jacqueline here. Avila, I picked Avila over Misa Tate, and she looked horrible. She came back after having a baby and didn't really work out for Avila. Now she's almost like, I think she's like 35 or 40 now, 36, 7 years old almost. She's getting up there, and this is not a good matchup for her. And I'm gonna go Jacqueline. I mean, the odds are like crazy, and it makes sense. It does make sense. I mean, I think this is even in minus 500. I mean, you probably don't want to parlay if it goes a distance. You never know. But I think Jacqueline is gonna win this fight. I'm gonna say like minus 400. I think is like reasonable for Jacqueline here. Honestly, I do. I think she's live for a finish too. I mean, her striking is good, man. She's got some power behind it, and she was hurting Nora Carnoli. That was a rematch. She took that fight on short notice. Her cardio was on point, didn't slow down at all. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jacqueline here by probably third round finish or like decision. I'm gonna say she finishes Julia Avila. I think she has it in her to finish this fight. I'm gonna go with Cavalcanti by like a TKO, like a second, third round TKO for Jacqueline Cavalcanti. And the odds for this one are pretty crazy, but I think it makes sense, man. I honestly do think it makes sense. Jacqueline minus 500. She opened up at minus 700. I mean, I think that makes sense. Honestly, if I was the books, that's where I would have her at. Because I don't want a lot of people like betting her at like good odds. I mean, so I'd probably line her at like minus 500, minus 600. She's more dangerous, better striker in her prime, good cardio. She can land a ton of volume. She's gonna be bigger than Avila here. Avila's striking is not horrendous, but she's not in her prime anymore. Under 2.5 rounds, plus 300, man. Honestly, that's a sneaky play right there. Fight doesn't go. I think Cavalcanti by like ITD is not the worst look ever. Decision is minus 275, so most people think it's gonna go the distance. I think there's a chance that Cavalcanti can put an end to Avila here, and I'm gonna go with TKO for Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Next fight on the card is Donto Mays, D1 Donto Mays taking on Walter Walker, man. Walter Walker cost me 2 units in his debut against Brzeski. I think his name was Lucas Brzeski. I honestly thought he won the fight. I mean, but it was so close, man. He was able to get takedowns on Lucas, but he wasn't really able to get a submission or a TKO or finish him on the ground. And every time Lucas kept getting back up, he was outlanding him. He was by far the better striker. I mean, Walter Walker striking is probably a work in progress now. And I am going to pick Walter Walker here. Donto Mays is mid. He can be taken down. He can be outstruck. So, like, I think Walker can get takedowns here. On the feet, I do favor Donto Mays to be able to land the better shots maybe and get a knockdown. I've seen Donto Mays knock people down before. He knocked down Kyle Machado, who has a pretty solid chin. Or we've seen Kyle Machado go down to I think 205, and he was able to take shots from Brenton and Barrow, who has some power. So, but Walter Walker is gonna be, I think he's gonna be able to match him in physicality here. They're both 6'6", and Walker is gonna be the better grappler here. So I'm gonna pick Walter Walker by submission here. Donto Mays is pretty tough though, but I think Walker can submit him. So I'm gonna go submission for Walter Walker here. And he's training hard, man. He looks in phenomenal shape now. So I'm gonna go with Walter Walker to find a submission. Fight ends ITD plus 110. Honestly, that's not bad. I think this fight's not gonna go the distance. I mean, it could if it's a Walter Walker just taking him down over and over and he can't finish him. Maybe then it goes distance. But I kind of favor it like ending in the first 2 rounds from Walter Walker. I think he's going to be able to get a submission on Donto Mays. Donto Mays can stay safe, I mean, but Hamdi was taking this guy down easy, man. He almost finished him too in the second round, I think, or first round. Hamdi almost finished him in the first round. So I think Walter Walker is better than Hamdi. He's stronger, he's bigger than Hamdi. So, like, I don't think Donto Mays is going to get any better at this point. Give me Walter Walker, the younger guy, to win. Medium confidence in Walter Walker here. So I'm going to go with Walter Walker. Let's see what the lines are for this one. He's minus 210. Yeah, I think he's going to win this one. If you do like Donto Mays side, maybe look at decisions. He can maybe win by decision. I don't see him finishing Walter Walker. Walker is pretty tough. But yeah, I'm going to go with Walter Walker here to get this one done. Next fight on the card is going to be Vince Morales taking on Eliza Smith. Eliza Smith, obviously, like I was saying earlier, he's the son of Gilbert Smith, who did compete in 2013 on the Ultimate Fighter. Didn't have a good run in the UFC, but he's been preparing his son to get to the UFC level and maybe become a champion, right? So Eliza Smith, he's been fighting in Fair UFC, and I watched his Fair UFC fights. He's fought some decent opponents. He's not been taking easy matchups. That's what I'll say about Eliza Smith. He's been taking the toughest matchups they can give him in Fair UFC. He got KO'd. I mean, he was winning that first like 2 rounds against Reyes Cortez, Tracy Cortez's brother. And that was his third fight in I think that was his third pro fight in MMA, or I could be wrong, but yeah, I think it was his third fight in MMA. So he was fighting Reyes Cortez, who already had like 7, 8 fights or like 9 fights at that point, and he was able to hurt him, right? So Eliza Smith's problem is, I feel like, is the cardio. He came in a short notice and got tired and then lost the third round clearly, but he did win the first 2 rounds. But yeah, the guy does slow down, and that could be a problem, man. Vince Morales has good boxing and he's got good striking. He's got so much experience now at this point. Liza Smith's probably I mean, obviously he's a prospect that the UFC wants to win. They want to build this guy up, right? And he's gonna look good early. I think he's mixing takedowns in the first round, make Vince Morales work. But man, I'm gonna go with Vince Morales. I think Morales is fighting for his job, and he's got good boxing, and I think he's got better cardio. He's fought the better opponents in UFC, and we're getting him at plus 200. Man, I'm gonna go with Vince Morales here. Eliza Smith can be that guy. We'll see how he looks on in his debut. But minus 250 for Eliza Smith. Yeah, I'm not gonna take him here. But I know he's really good. I know he looked really good on tape. He's got all the skills to win this fight. So we'll see how this one goes. But I'm gonna go with Vince Morales right now. I'm gonna go Vince Morales like third round TKO, or like maybe third round finish, or like decision for Vince Morales. That's gonna be the pick for me. Vince Morales plus 190. Man, those odds open up way closer than they are now. I'm gonna go with Morales here. Next fight on the card is gonna be Gabriel Bonfim taking on Chaos Williams. Now, Chaos Williams has crazy power, man. This guy touches you, you're gonna be fucking dead, probably. This guy has insane power. He's a brawler. Haven't really seen Chaos Williams getting taken on. I mean, his takedown defense is solid. I think his takedown defense is sitting at like 80%. Hasn't really been fighting the best grapplers, let's be honest. Bonfim's probably by far the best guy that can grapple that he's fought in the UFC. Chaos Williams, I mean. So Chaos Williams is gonna have more power. He's gonna probably have the better cardio here. Bonfim, I picked him by decision in my breakdown over Lusa. And he didn't look horrible. He looked okay. I mean, he was going for guillotines, and he was landing nice clinch knees to Lusa. He won the fight pretty clearly. I think he won 30-27. I think they scored a 29-28 maybe. I watched it back last night. I can't really remember the whole thing anymore. But yeah, Bonfim's gonna have the better striking. I feel like the better technical striking. I don't think he's got the same power as Chaos Williams. Chaos Williams has way more power than Bonfim. Bonfim has better technique. He's got better leg kicks and like elbows and stuff, knees in the clinch. Overall, I think Bonfim's a better fighter. I think overall, like, he's got more tools to win, more paths to victory, submission game, grappling upside. We've seen him gas out against Dalby, but his chin is actually not that bad. I don't think Bonfim chinny or anything by any means. But Chaos Williams has that crazy power, man. So we'll see how this one goes. I am gonna lean towards Bonfim right now, but I might bet on Chaos Williams by KO just because he's live against pretty much anyone out there by KO. I'm gonna go with Bonfim to win by. I'm gonna say he wins by decision. Williams is tough, man. I've seen this guy hurt. I've seen him get caught up in submission attempts, and he just doesn't fucking tap out. He fights his way through any submission attempts. Chaos Williams can win this fight, honestly. I want to pick him here, but I feel like Bonfim is going to be the better technical striker. And we've seen guys that have better technique against Chaos Williams, like Randy Brown. But Randy Brown has a crazy reach advantage over anyone pretty much at the UFC level. And Chaos Williams was able to hurt him in the first round. He was able to hurt him in the third round. So the guy carries that power late into fights. So you got to be worried. You got to be careful for the whole 15 minutes. I'm gonna go with Bonfim. I think Bonfim is gonna be able to get this one done by. I'm gonna say he wins by decision, honestly, or I think he wins by decision. I think Chaos Williams gonna be able to land big shots on him, and I think Bonfim's gonna respect his power, and I think he's gonna play it safe, honestly. So I'm gonna go Bonfim minus 210. It's scary, man. If you're paroling Bonfim, it's definitely scary because you gotta hold your breath. You gotta hope this guy doesn't make a mistake because he does kind of swing in the pocket, leaves his chin up in the air. He has that habit of doing that. So if he's boxing with Chaos Williams, he's in the pocket with Chaos Williams, is swinging, they're brawling it out. I mean, that's the type of fight that Chaos Williams is gonna be able to win. Over 1.5 rounds, minus 144. Honestly, I think it's going over 1.5 rounds. I don't know why I feel like it's gonna go over 1.5 rounds. I really do. I'm gonna go Bonfim by decision. Next fight on the card is Rafael Estevam taking on Jesus Aguilar. So Esteban came in on not short notice. I mean, he took that fight against Charles Energy Johnson, and he looked pretty good, man. He won the first round clear as day. He was outstriking Johnson in the first rounds, landing takedowns. This guy's grappling is really high level, man. I like his wrestling a lot, and he's gonna be the much better wrestler than Jesus Aguilar. He's gonna be bigger. He's gonna be stronger than Jesus Aguilar. He's got better technique overall. He's got better striking. He's got more power on the feet. But Aguilar is sneaky, man. This guy is 5'4" with a 62-inch reach, and he's got some of the nastiest guillotines you're ever gonna see in at 125. Probably has the nastiest guillotine right now at 125. So Esteban's problem is that when he does shoot for double leg takedowns, he does leave his neck out there. So Aguilar is gonna be live for a submission, 100%. So I'm gonna see where they open the submission for Aguilar on FanDuel. They normally have the best prop lines on FanDuel. I'm gonna wait and see where they open Aguilar submission prop. I'll probably maybe sprinkle that because I know he's gonna go for a guillotine. He's gonna go for submissions off his back. And I know Estefan's gonna be shooting takedowns. He might not even I know he's gonna be shooting takedowns. Even when he doesn't have to shoot takedowns, he shoots takedowns for no reason because his wrestling is so good. I like his grappling, man. I like his striking. I like Esteban, but the number is crazy. And he's coming back after a layoff. He's had some cancellations. But I'm gonna go with Esteban. I think Esteban is a better fighter overall. I'm gonna go with Esteban to win by I think he's gonna finish him by ground and pound. I'm gonna say he finishes him by second on TKO. This fight's not gonna go the distance, I think. Even though they're flyweights, I think the way they fight, Aguilar's life for us guillotine submission off his back, or I think Esteban's life for a submission or ground and pound finish. Esteban minus 860. Yeah, I'm not playing that money line, but I'll definitely sprinkle the fight doesn't go the distance. Minus 140 if your fight doesn't go the distance. Under 2.5 rounds plus 150. I'm gonna say he finishes under 2.5 rounds. I think it's gonna go under 2.5 rounds. Next fight on the card, I think this fight's canceled, but I'll give you guys my this fight I think is canceled. But I'll give you guys my pick, man. I'm gonna go with Jared Gordon if the fight's not canceled, but I think it's canceled. Fernandes, I think he's a good striker. He's got really good leg kicks, but I don't see him being able to outstrike Jared Gordon or land the same volume on Jared Gordon in a 15-minute fight. So I'm gonna go Jared Gordon if the fight's not off, but I do think the fight's canceled. Next fight on the card is Angela Hill taking on Katlyn Souza. This one's gonna be fun, man. So Angela Hill, I think she's probably got the most fights in the WMA. I mean, at this point, I don't know who else has more fights than Angela Hill. She fights every couple months, and she's 40 years old. I mean, but I wouldn't really write her off just because she's 40 years old. She's competing. She's able to compete with pretty much everyone out there. But her problem is she doesn't have a lot of power. She's a volume striker, so he kind of relies on the volume and the pace and pressure to break her opponents. And I think she can do that here against Katlyn Souza. Katlyn Souza has power. We've seen Angela Hill go up against girls that have power, and she might get knocked down early in the first round, get hurt early. She's normally able to rally back and win the same fight. I mean, she's able to come back and win. But Katlyn Souza right now, she's training hard. She came in and I think she took the fighting Queen Silva, got subbed in the first round. Then she took on Marnik Man, who's 5 feet tall. I don't know, Marnik Man is horrible. But she won that fight by decision, was able to just mix in takedowns and outstrike Marnik Man. But Marnik Man got a takedown on her too, so Katlyn Souza can be taken on. Her grappling off her back is really not that good. Her takedown defense is really not that good. I think Angela Hill, even though she's not really known as a wrestler, but we've seen her go out there mixing takedowns on girls, and she can put up a lot of volume on these girls, man. So like it's gonna come down to pretty much like who are the judges gonna score this fight for? Like, are they gonna go with the damaging shots from Kelvin Souza and not enough volume from Kelvin Souza, or are they gonna go with Angela Hill, who's gonna be throwing way more volume and have the better cardio, fought the better opponents in the UFC? She's 40 years old though, so like one of these days, like 40 years old, I mean, you can only go so far at 40 years old. I mean, but I'm still gonna go Angela Hill. I trust her experience. Angela Hill right now is -115. I don't think I want anything to do with, with this fight. I mean, because normally Angela Hill fights are close, so I don't want to bet her at chalk. But if she's underdog, I'll maybe like take the +2.5. I think you can parlay the +2.5 on Angela Hill if you can find that on DraftKings later in the week. That's something I'd be looking at, or the over. I think that's gonna go over, but it's -500 for the over. I think it's like -500 for the over. I did have her. We had the over 2.5 against in her last fight with the Tap the Ricci, and the over hit pretty easy there. Kelvin Souza is dangerous. So like if you want to sprinkle Kelvin Souza, first round submission, first round TKO, I think first round Kelvin Souza, she's super dangerous, and she's probably gonna win the first round. I think at a high probability. And maybe she's gonna be live for early submission. We have seen her into Hill get dropped before. We've seen her get tangled up in submission attempts, but she's so tough, man. I'm gonna go Angela Hill, but Kelvin Souza round 1, round 2 submission is definitely live. Next fight on the card is Connor Matthews taking on Jose Delgado. This should be a fun matchup. I'm picking Jose Delgado here. He's gonna win this fight. He's got more power on the feet. His takedown defense is solid. Connor Matthews is a primary grappler that can strike a bit, but doesn't have the same power that these other guys have when he has to strike with them, and he can get takedowns on these guys. He made his debut over Bazuki. I think it was Dennis Bazuki, yeah, from Ray Longo team. And he was looking good early. I mean, he wasn't looking bad early, but just doesn't have the same power or the pop when he's striking with these guys. They don't really strike him, and they're able to just walk him down and land big bombs on him and hurt him. And I think Delgado has the power to like just keep him at bay and just pick him apart and maybe knock him out later. So I'm gonna go with Delgado. I think his power is good. I think he can land a knee up the middle. He's got more than just boxing. He throws a lot of stuff out there. He's gonna be throwing knees. He's gonna be throwing kicks. And I like Delgado, man. I think the guy's legit. He's coming over from Dana White Contender Series, and I was impressed with his performance on Dana White Contender Series. I'm gonna go Delgado by. I'm gonna say he wins by maybe like. I'm gonna say like a second on TKO for Delgado. He's gonna win this fight. I'm pretty confident Delgado here. Delgado -275. He's -300 almost. Yeah, I don't see Connor Matthews taking him down or holding him down. He might get him down maybe once, but I don't see him holding him down. Delgado TKO +200. I like the TKO. I'm gonna play that TKO when they open the props on FanDuel, because they normally have better prop lines on FanDuel. Next fight on the card is Rodolfo Vieira taking on Andre Petroski. I'm going Rodolfo Vieira here, guys. He's gonna win this fight. Petroski is a good wrestler, has some cardio. I mean, the first round he's powerful early, so maybe you can drop Rodolfo Vieira. There's definitely he's definitely gonna be live to drop him maybe, because I think Petroski has better striking, more power on the feet. And Rodolfo Vieira, we've seen him drop before. Cody Brundis dropped him like 2 times, I think, in the first round. Brundis. But he's tough, man. So we know Rodolfo Vieira is tough. He's not going anywhere. He might get dropped in this fight. He's gonna come back and win. And I remember him he was losing the fight to Dustin Stoltzfus in the early round. Then he came back and won by a 3rd round submission. So the guy's not gonna give up on himself. He's tough and he's great. He's got good cardio. His striking looked better against Chris Curtis, who's one of the better strikers at this weight class. I think Vieira's striking is gonna be better technically. Whereas I think Petroski has more power, but Petroski doesn't have the gas tank to be able to just wrestle him for all 3 rounds, I feel like. And Vieira's not just going to play that guard game. He's actually going to be able to get sweeps on Petroski and look for a submission. So I'm going to go Rodolfo Vieira by submission, and that's going to be the pick. Rodolfo Vieira right now is -215. I think Vieira's going to win, man. I think he's gonna be able to get a submission here. Vieira by submission +150. I like Vieira submission, man. He was beating up Hernandez too, Fluffy Hernandez. I mean, most people are beating her Fluffy Hernandez early before they gas out. And he was like completely dominating Fluffy Hernandez before he gassed out, trying to finish the guy. And the guy just Fluffy Hernandez is so tough. Submission. I'm gonna go with Vieira submission. Next fight on the card is Ismail Bonfim taking on Nazim Sadykhov. So this one's gonna be fun, man. This is a striker versus striker matchup. Nazim Sadykhov is a striker that can grapple a bit. He can wrestle. He's got nice back takes and striking. I don't know if I'm really crazy about Nazim Sadykhov striking. He hasn't fought in almost over a year and a half. I mean, he was supposed to fight Medeiros. Medeiros ended up pulling out. He was supposed to fight another guy who also ended up pulling out from the fight. Let me see who it was. I think it was. Let me see if I can find who he was supposed to go up against. So so he's at some cancellation. Yeah, Chris Duncan. He was he had a staph infection, and then he was supposed to fight Marco Medeiros. Medeiros withdrew from that fight, so he wasn't able to compete last year at all. And he's coming off that fight of the night against Vyacheslav Borishev, who is a good striker, but I mean, he's not really all that great. We've just seen recently Borishev looked terrible against Nolan. And remember him losing to Evan Alder before he got the stoppage, where he was able to land a punch that cut open Evan Alder. The referee stopped the fight because he didn't think it was going to be okay to let the fight go on longer. So like the guy is okay, man. He's training over there at Longo and Wide MMA. He's not bad, right? He's not bad. He's not a bad fighter. I do think Bonfim is a better striker overall, like more technical. He's gonna be able to land more volume. And but Bonfim, man, he's one of those guys that built when you make him work, when you grapple him, he can build, right? We've seen him build before against Saint Denis. And Saint Denis, his wrestling is pretty good, but come on, like he just built to it. I mean, there's like 15 seconds to go, and he tapped out so fast. Bonfim, I mean, it's my Bonfim. So these Bonfim brothers, I mean, there's definitely a quitter in there in both of them. We've seen that with Gabriel Bonfim against Dalby. When he ran out of cardio, he knew he couldn't put him away, so he kind of just fucking packed his bags and he's like, let me just go home. Let me get me out of here. I feel like I see the same thing with Ismail Bonfim. Now, can he win this fight? He's got more experience with Nazim Sadykhov. I picked him by decision over who was that guy that he fought? Vince from Hell Pichel. I think that's his name. Wasn't that impressed with Bonfim, man. And he's training with his brother. They're both fighting on this card. I'm gonna go Nazim Sadykhov. I'll take the underdog here. I'll take the underdog. I mean, but he hasn't fought in a year, so like I'm kind of done betting on guys that haven't fought in a year. It's not really his fault. I mean, he was preparing to fight him. I mean, 2 times last year, but it's not his fault, right? When your opponent just pulls out from the fight, he's not the ones nursing injuries. I mean, it's his opponents that pulled out from the fight. I'll take Nazim Sadykhov as underdog here. Let's see how big underdog that he is. Nazim Sadykhov right now is minus plus 155. I'll pick the underdog here, Nazim Sadykhov. Next fight on the card is Edmund Shahbazyan taking on Dylan Budka. Man, you guys are probably not ready for this. Shahbazyan, if he doesn't finish this guy in the first round and a half, man, I can just see him quitting, man. I've seen it happen so many times now. And Dylan Budka, another guy that quit against Cesar Almeida. He wrestled Almeida in the first round. Like, he won the first round. I guess, did he win the first round? He didn't really land any damage over Cesar Almeida. But the guy can wrestle, man. He's got okay cardio. I think he took the Almeida fight at short notice. I picked Almeida as underdog. I mean, Almeida was underdog there. This one, Shahbazyan, he's a better striker. I mean, by far, he's a better striker. He's got knockout power. So he's going to be live for a knockout early in the first round. And I pick this guy every time, man. I stopped betting him after he lost me money. Like, again, I can remember who it was. I think it was Brunson against Brunson, where he kept getting taken on and got around and pounded right away. Dylan Budka, I've seen this guy go to 5 rounds of back and forth against Bikoyev, who looked pretty good in his debut recently. So the guy can compete for five rounds. He's got cardio. Normally, he can put a pace on people. He can wrestle pretty well. I know we haven't seen him wrestle out there. We haven't seen him. He got completely dominated by Petroski, which isn't the best look ever. Let's be honest. I think Budka is better than he's looked recently in his first 2 fights in the UFC. Shahbazyan, on the other hand, I mean, he's been losing to guys, but they're all pretty high level guys. If we're being honest, let's look at the guys that he's been losing to. Normally, it's not a good sign when when you have to look at guys that he's losing to. That's the way you gotta break down the fight. I mean, he lost to Gerald Mearshart, but he was beating up Gerald Mearshart early. Then he just kind of quit after when he got tired. He knocked out Asa Dobson. We did pick him by first round knockout there. He was looking good in that Hernandez fight in the first round. I mean, but most people are looking good against Hernandez in the first round. He beat Dalta, Logie, and Bula, but he's losing to Beric Brunson, Hermanson, and Mavov, Hernandez, Gerald Mearshart. He should not be losing to this guy, Dylan Budka, man. Like, the guy is 2-4 in his last, like, I don't know how many fights. I mean, how many fights has he had? He's 2-4 in the last 6 UFC fights. He's been competing against better guys, though. He's got more UFC experience. He's still young. I'm still gonna pick Shahbazyan, man. He should not be losing this fight. Honestly, he should not be losing to a guy like Dylan Budka. He's gonna be live for a first round KO, I think. I'm gonna also say Shahbazyan finds a knockout here. If he doesn't find the knockout, man, I mean, it might be time to. But Budka, I don't even know. Like, is he just gonna win this fight by wrestling this guy? Like, I don't think he has a lot of ground and pound. Like, I haven't really seen him throw a lot of ground and pound when he does get takedowns on people. Like, what's he gonna do? Even if he gets takedowns later, does he have a submission game? Haven't really seen him submit a lot of people out there. He normally goes the distance a lot. So he's gonna have to like survive the first round, then like wrestle Shahbazyan second and third round, and hope he can do enough. Like, he might get a takedown and not just lay on top. I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Shahbazyan here, man. As much as I wanna face Shahbazyan, but I don't think this is the fight right here. Shahbazyan should be able to win this one. I mean. But the guy's a quitter, man. How can you trust this guy with your money? I don't trust this guy with my money, but I gotta pick him here. Next fight on the card is Calvin Kattar taking on Yusuf Jalal. I gotta go Yusuf Jalal here, man. Calvin Kattar hasn't looked good in so long, but the guy has a UFC. He's been competing against the better guys. He's most of his fights used to be competitive. I mean, before he came back after that knee injury that he had against Yair Rodrigues. He hasn't looked the same since. And but yeah, he's got high level wins though. Like Danny Gibbons, pretty high level. So it just depends on what kind of Calvin Kattar shows up here. Cause he came back after a layoff against Sterling. I mean, he didn't have any success in that fight. I don't think he landed a single strike in that fight. And that's not a good sign, man. So the guy's 30 years old now. He's getting up there, almost pushing 40. We know this guy can wrestle though. Like, I don't think Jalal just gonna take him down easy. I think he can mix it up though. I think he's the better striker. I think Jalal at this point right now, at this point in their career, who's the better striker? If you told me who would win this matchup like 5 years ago, I'd probably pick Calvin Kattar. But at this point, man, I gotta go Jalal. I think he's cast for a submission over Jack Shore at plus 800. Him by submission here is like plus 850. I don't think it's that likely. I mean, can it happen? For sure. Calvin Kattar's takedown defense does look terrible, but he's going up against guys like Sterling, who's one of the better wrestlers at 145 now, and was at 135. I mean, former champion. Jalal has to kind of hurt him to get the submission, I feel like here. I'm gonna have to go with the use of Jalal. I'm gonna say he wins by decision. If he finishes Calvin Kattar, man, they might as well just give him someone in top 5 next, or maybe Lauren Murphy. Maybe they can do Lauren Murphy versus Yusuf Jalal if he goes out there and finishes Calvin Kattar. I think he wins by decision. I don't know. I can't pick him by submission. I don't think Calvin Kattar's too tough. Calvin Kattar plus 325, minus 390 for Yusuf Jalal. Yeah, I think Jalal is gonna win this one, guys. I really do. But I mean, can Calvin Kattar win? Can he keep it on the feet and land the better shot? Maybe hurt Jalal. Jalal's chin's pretty solid. I've never really seen him hurt, and he knows how to stay safe, and like he's got good fight IQ, man. I like Jalal. I think he's good parlay piece. Honestly, do. At first, like before watching tape, I was like, oh man, minus 400 for Yusuf Jalal, Calvin Kattar, like that's crazy. Then I watched tape. Then I watched Calvin Kattar look terrible. His last couple fights, and he hasn't looked the same in so long. I gotta go with Yusuf Jalal here. Yusuf Jalal by, I think the money line's not bad for a parlay piece. I'm probably gonna throw him in a parlay. Jalal by ITD plus 270. Can he get a third round submission, man? The guy's jiu-jitsu is getting better. His grappling is getting better. So If you do want to play something, I mean, you can play maybe the submission. You might as well play ITD because it's plus 270. Submission is plus 300. He opened up at plus 600. I mean, I would have played at plus 600, but I wasn't able to see it there. I didn't check the odds back then. I mean, early enough. I'll see where they opened up submission on FanDuel. We'll see. Maybe you can cash another submission. We cashed a submission last week on Santos, second and third round at plus 1500. So we'll see if we can cash another submission on this card. I'm gonna lean towards Zalal winning on the scorecards. I think Kattar is gonna be in there. He's gonna be fighting for a job, so I don't think he's gonna just get subbed that early, that easy. But if anyone can do it, man, is use Zalal. Alright guys, main event of the evening. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. We're getting close to 3K subscribers now, so I appreciate all you guys that have subbed to the channel already. And if you want to, again guys, my bets are all free, so you don't have to pay any money to see my bets. It's all free. There's a link in the description. If you do want to support the channel, you can become a member on the channel. You get some live stream perks and you get to support my channel. So I appreciate you guys all. I appreciate all the members that we already have on the channel. We got like 40 plus members on the channel. Appreciate you guys all. Let's break down this main event now, guys. We got Cannonier taking on Robocop Rodrigues. Guys, I think Robocop is gonna win, man. Cannonier hasn't looked. I mean, I wouldn't say he hasn't looked good, but like he's been getting hurt more and more in his last couple of fights. He almost got finished by Vittori in the first round. Should have probably got finished by Vittori in the first round, but he came back. He was able to rally back and beat the shit out of Vittori for the next 4 rounds. Crazy. He put an absolute beating on Vittori after that first round. And then he went up against let me see if I can find it. I know he fought Imavov and he fought Kaya Brahalio recently. Yeah, he fought Imavov. I did pick Imavov there. I had a parlay Imavov, Klein, and I had another, I can't remember who else it was, but it was a really nice parlay we cast there. I think it's Marcos, I think it was Marcos, Klein, and I think it was Imavov. Yeah, that was a parlay that we cast on that one. But Marvel, I've been high on Marvel, man. You guys know how high I've been on Marvel, and he was looking good in that fight. He wasn't looking bad in the early rounds. And then obviously Kaya Braulio almost finished him too. So I think his durability is kind of leaving at this point. And I don't think he won that Strickland fight. I scored that fight for Strickland. As much as I'm not really a big fan of Strickland, but I think Strickland won that fight. So this fight pretty much comes down to, can Cannonier put him away early? Because Robocop has been chinning throughout his career. He got chinned in his first UFC fight. He got chinned in his first MMA fight. Lopez, you guys remember Lopez that beat Ghazi Yusilov recently? Yeah, he was able to chin him early. Then he got chinned on Dana White Contender Series with one shot. It was out cold. Then he got chinned against Bruno Ferreira. So there's definitely an off switch there, man. So like I'm always worried about Robocop's chin. But like I feel like at this point, man, Cannonier's chin's probably worse at this point. So now Robocop is fighting his first ranked opponent in the UFC now, so Cannonier is no joke, man. So we'll see what kind of level Robocop's on. But I gotta go with the Robocop, man. The guy looks like he's 50 years old, even though he's 32. He's probably lying about his age to us. But I think Robocop's gonna be hungry, man. He's gonna be marching forward. He's gonna be. You can hit this guy with pretty much anything. If you don't put his lights out, he's gonna be walking you down, landing big bombs, and he's hittable, man. So there's definitely an off switch there, but I don't know if Cannonier's gonna be able to find that off switch. He's 40 years old. I mean, he's taken a lot of damage, been in a lot of wars. That catches up to you. So I'm gonna go with Robocop. I think I'm pretty confident Robocop here. He's got 5 rounds to work. As long as he doesn't get KO'd early, which I don't think is gonna happen. I mean, it could happen, right? It's a MMA fight. They're both middleweight, so it could happen. But I'm gonna lean towards Robocop winning it by like a late TKO stoppage. I think he's gonna be able to put him away in the 4th round, maybe. 3rd, 4th round. I'm gonna say like a 4th round TKO for Robocop. Let's see what the odds are. Cannonier right now is plus 180 and Robocop plus minus 210. I think Robocop's gonna win. What's the unders? Fight ends ITD minus 225. I don't think this fight's gonna go. I don't think it's gonna go the distance, guys. I mean, they're both tough, but they both have a lot of power. Robocop's hittable. Cannonier's hittable. Their durability is questionable on both sides. So I'm gonna lean towards it going under. Cannonier by TKO plus 285. I think there's value in Cannonier TKO too. You can sprinkle Cannonier TKO and then Robocop. He's got submission skills too, but never really wrestles. He likes to stand and bang. So I think that under 2.5 rounds minus 125 is not horrible. But I could see this one going like over 2.5 rounds because Cannonier is tough though. He's definitely tough. But that might not be enough because if once Robocop starts walking him down, not throwing big bombs, I think it's gonna be. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's gonna be a good fight either way. So there you guys go, man. That's my full card breakdown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. So I'm picking Robocop in the main event. I'm picking Yusuf Jalal. I'm picking Shahbazyan. I'm picking Nazim Sadykhov. Picking Rodolfo Vieira. I'm picking Delgado. Picking Angela Hill. Jared Gordon. This fight's probably canceled, I think. Picking Estevam. Rafael Estevam. I'm picking Bonfim. I'm picking Morales. I'm picking Walter Walker. And I'm picking Jacqueline Cavalcanti. My most confident picks are Jacqueline Cavalcanti, Estevam, Delgado, and I'm gonna say Yusuf Jalal. So those are my 4 most confident picks on this card. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Thank you for watching. And once again, make sure you guys subscribe if you're new here. I do live streams. I go live for every UFC card. I go live multiple times a week. I do a full card prediction every week for UFC cards. And I also cover LFA. I cover other promotions like PFL. So my bets are all free, and there's a link in the description. You don't have to pay any money. So there's no premium or anything like that. It's all free. So appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one later.